Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. It's Rad, and tonight we're going to see what should we know in this current moment regarding our personal situations. And welcome to the stream. Taco Ness, Yadabi, Pisces Moonbeam as always, and Yasmin, thank you for the 20 US dollars PayPal support. So with that said, at the thumbnail of the stream, there were 3 cards which I drew about a few hours ago. They do represent the collective, and the cards are as follow. So the first one, that will be the world. The second card for the collective reading, that is the Fool. And the third card for the collective, that is going to be, or that is Justice. Okay, so we do have these 3. They stand like this. And the message is pretty simple. And that according to these cards right now, currently, our eyes are off target, or the mark we do have set right now, it's not exactly the mark that is going to drive it home for what these cards are showing. It does look like, and particularly it comes from that elemental dignity that we do have here. It could stand, well, it does regard to requirements, and as well, let's put it that way, rules. The target, whether that target is a job or a person or a friendship, whatever the case, we're talking about a big target, all right? The target, according to these cards, it's not about having some kind of a negotiations tomorrow. We're talking about the target of the grand scheme of things. And it does look like that currently that target does require certain, like I said, rules. It does have its preferences, for a lack of better expression, and those preferences are kind of like getting in our way currently, or in another word said, are something we would prefer not to be a part of, right? And for that next few days, we may kind of like feel the incentive to seek out something else, right? Just a quick example here. Let's say that 2 people, right, they like each other, but one of them has a certain requirements. It does look for a something specific, which the other person doesn't exactly fit right now. They can, but they don't, because they have to give up, let's say, partying. They have to give up, let's say, smoking or drinking or whatever, or playing video games, if you will. And because they are not ready to give up that thing right now, or they don't want to, they will have the incentive to look for someone else. That is going to be, again, a compromise. So it's going to be an important thing next few days to think about carefully. How do we want to have it, and does it really worth it? Because if we do keep up with, so to speak, the rules, we can definitely, like I said, drive it home with the person we like, with the job we want, with the project we crave for, and so on and so forth. But if that is going to take too much out of us, like I gave the example just now, then looking for a new perspective, it's not going to be the end of the world. We have to start all over again, okay? But if that's what, you know, some of us would prefer, then by all means. My point is that there is no right or wrong here. There is what we can live with and what we cannot. So I guess we do have a few days in front of us to think about it very, very carefully. Hey, Rocky. Welcome to the stream. This time you caught it right at the beginning. All right, so a few notes about the show before I move to the 12 star signs. And yeah, you heard me. There are going to be 12 readings for each star sign. I'm going to start up with Aries, and I'm going to end up with Pisces. The star signs are going to be in their natural order, so to speak. But bear in mind that these are readings for your star sign. And while they are going to affect you to a certain extent, they're not your personal reading, and you may not find the answer to your personal situations in those star sign readings. If you do wish to have your own personal reading with me, where I'm going to interpret tarot directly connected to your personal situation, you can go to my website, which link you're going to find in the description down below, and there at the very front page you will see full list of my services and also their pricing. But if you do like the show and you do decide to contribute via super chat or via PayPal, which link again you're going to find in the description down below, at the end of the stream you're going to have your personalized reading that is guaranteed. And just hold on a second. And that's pretty much wraps it up. So the first star sign that I'm gonna read for. Oh yeah, that's gonna be Aries. But my point was that with the contribution, if it doesn't have any inquiry with it, then it's going to be, the reading is going to be about what do you need to know right now. Generally. But Rocky, thank you for the 28 Canadian. But as Rocky sent an inquiry, what does she needs to know about her job? So that is going to be Rocky's reading at the end of the stream. Rocky, thank you for the 28 Canadian. Thank you, Rocky. So you're going to have your reading at the end of the stream. We put you into the list. Right. So with that said, Aries first. Let me shuffle. Four of Pentacles, first one. Second card for Aries, that is going to be the Wheel of Fortune. And then we do have the Ace of Wands. Message is pretty simple for what those cards are standing for, is that currently, with these three, you do have it as good as it can be, and therefore you don't have to, how can I put it into words, jeopardize it any longer with some kind of a unexpected moves, so to speak. So if you do, for example, okay, if you do think to flabbergast, say, your boss with some kind of a shenanigan maneuver, don't, because that's for what those cards are showing. This is going to jeopardize your career, is going to jeopardize your job. What those cards are showing is that currently you do have pretty much secured future in your either love life or either into your career, your friendships as well. Basically depends on where your mind is currently and what is most important thing for you. And the beauty of all that it is that it does not rely on luck, so to speak. Okay, so even if you happen to be unlucky to a certain extent or even to a big extent, it's highly unlikely that, you know, your position again is going to be compromised or jeopardized, but you can definitely shoot yourself in the foot trying to again flabbergast someone with so-called a brilliant move that no one see coming. Because the only thing that this is going to prove is that you cannot be trusted. That is pretty much the message for you and what you need to know right now, Aries. So carry on with what you know and what you can do best, right? Again, don't try to kind of like surprise with your moves. All right, next that will be Taurus. Ten of Wands, the Hangman, the Fool. So first of all, you may expect in the next few days some kind of a new demands to come your way. That is something you need to know, that these demands are, well, they're not exactly demands, they are more like strings. Okay, they're more like a, how can I put it into words, a yeah, well, string is the best word that comes to my mind, which are cooking for you and they are going to be placed upon you, which isn't a bad thing, by the way, because with those strings, a perks of, so to speak, the trade is as well coming with them. And the thing it is that these are strings that I'm talking about. They are very closely related to certain responsibilities that you would, well, it's kind of difficult to explain. All right, let me try it that way. Let's say that you are trying to earn a lot of money with some kind of a deal, all right? And that deal carries on responsibilities with it in a form of certain strings, certain obligations. Maybe obligation is a better word to say. So certain obligations, and you would kind of like up until this point, you may have tried to kind of like get the money without being entangled with those obligations, and you have stalled on these obligations and tried to kind of like wriggle your way among them, but that delay no longer can be implied anymore. And if you do want the money, you have to take on the obligations. That is pretty much how it stands with those cards. And that will be kind of like a, even if you want to say it, that will be something like a new beginning for you, in a sense of kind of like an entire new chapter coming from these obligations, which is going to carry on a good rewards at the end of it, for as long as you know you can keep up with it. So that is also kind of like implementable, if that's a word, for a relationship as well. You may want to be in a relationship with someone, but without having to, for example, you know, can I put it into words? Acknowledge certain part of that person's character, and you're trying to kind of like again wriggle your position through that, so you ignore those traits of their character, but you can't any longer. If you want to be with them, you pretty much have to resign about those part of their character. So that's how these cards stands. And I don't think that, unlike Aries, you do have much of a choice now. Taco, thank you for the 22 US dollars. Thank you, Taco. The end of the stream. You're gonna have your personalized reading. Thank you, mate. All right, next, Gemini. The Strength, King of Cups, Seven of Cups. Well, according to these cards, they refer to something that have been recently offered, presented to you. It could be as well help that's have been implied that you can get also, okay? And for what those cards are showing, that which was presented, offered, or attempted to help you is either more difficult than anticipated or right out impossible to be manifested, so to speak. There is another way how these cards could manifest, okay, that whatever had been presented or offered to you, Gemini, personally, you will find something better. Personally, you will find something better. So, in the next few days, I mean, and I don't want to say it kind of like in a bad way, but many of you will have to face certain disappointment, especially if you are banking a lot on that offer that you have taken, for example, or you are relying on that help which is coming, okay? And mostly you will have to kind of like rely on your own, like the strength stance, on your own personal strength. Another thing here for you guys, it is that in the next few days, it will be best not to kind of like try to, for example, not for example, but write out, seek for approval, because it won't matter at all. It's important to identify what is best for you and just start doing it, no matter who approves it or not. And that is what you need to know, and it's a tough message, but it is what it is. All right, next, Cancer. You don't have kidney problems, Taco? Hopefully they heal, mate. Seven of Wands. With the Page of Wands. And we do have the Two of Pentacles. Okay, I hope that they do heal. Kidneys are not something you want to mess around with. That's a tough read. There will be a... new circumstances, and they will appear in I don't want to say a rough situation, but it's definitely in a situation that things could definitely be better. And these circumstances are gonna appear at the pivotal moment, at a pivotal time where, you know, it could take, the situation could take for better or for worse. In these circumstances will help you, Cancer, to take it for better. But in order to kind of like take advantage of all that, you have to be ready to jump into the action. You can't think much about it. So next few days, you need to have that readiness to jump into it. Constantly, you know, on the lookout. Constantly be, I don't want to say on your guard, but more like ready to jump into the activity, so to speak. And the good thing about these cards, for what they are showing, is that these new circumstances are not going to make things much different for the exterior, meaning, you know, of how things are going to develop, but they're going to make it different for you. It's going to be a tiny kind of like change of the circumstances that is going to make all the difference, so to speak. And that is what you need to know. So if now you are feeling yourself with your back against the wall, it is like you don't have much to do in order to improve your current situation and, you know, in your status, you are about to, in the next few days. You're about to have the means. All that it takes is to use them. All right, next, Leo. Judgment. Followed by the Star. We do have the Four of Wands for Leo. Those four cards, three cards, I'm sorry, they're not four, they're three. And it's great for Leo. I mean, that is the thing you hoped for, basically. How can I put it into words? So when you know, when something is developing, whether a job is developing, whether a project, whether a relationship is developing, and thou hopes things to happen in a certain way, right? Well, that hope, according to these cards, is going to live up to your expectations. So it's going to happen the way you hoped for, at least for the next few days, without any problems whatsoever, and with all the major details being attended to, being developed, being concluded. And from there, I don't know, I mean, all that it takes is that you do stick with it, but the only way you don't, according to these cards, is if you are stubborn and you want to prove to yourself that things can go worse and kind of like go against yourself, so to speak. So I don't have much to add to that, but in the next few days, the situations you are in, your job, your love life, your friendships, they're gonna stick and live up to your hopes, ideals, and as well standards. And by the way, even in those few days, something may come up. I don't know in what form. It could be through some kind of a proposal. You may read it in the newspaper, for example, or it could be a piece of an information, but it's going to be very important in the sense of that acting on it is gonna launch you miles away in front of, say, your competition or the things that people are expecting of you. Okay, so it's a jackpot. In any way you see it, it's a jackpot. For those of you who are moving through a rough patch, it's ending in the next few days, according to these cards. That is what you need to know. Next, Virgo. Ten of Cups. Queen of Cups. King of Wands. Well, what you need to know is that your ambition or the drive of your the ambition is not the problem. The drive for it is the problem. What those cards are showing. So the drive of your ambition, which under the King of Wands, usually that drive is, how do you call it when one cannot forgive a mistake? Okay, like expecting everything to be better even than a perfection. So that is your drive, okay, under the energy of the King of Wands. And that attitude, it's ruining, basically it is ruining the happiness, so to speak. I mean, according to these cards, you can be very happy right now. I mean, what they say is that you have everything that it takes in order to be very happy, emotionally stable, and fulfilled. It's just that attitude toward the ambitions you do have, whether ambitions to be first in the job, right, or the best at your work, or you know, the most loved one, and whatever the case, okay? The attitude toward that ambition is ruining this experience of happiness. So maybe you want to take it easy when it comes to how fast you want to drive it home, and you know how unyielding in regards to compromises you want to be. So that is what you need to know. Just take it easy, guys. One second. No. All right. Next, it's Libra. It could come up in your reading, Taco, yeah. Six of Wands, 10 of Cups, and it is the Hierophant. And it is a Hierophant, and it kind of feels that you are thrown among the wolves, or you are thrown at the wolves. By the look of these cards, like they are very common for people which are thrown in a situation that they haven't been before, or not are not used into it. Okay, like for example, say you just took a job and you started the job, and it's kind of like it's not what you have expected. You don't know what to do, you don't know what to expect, you don't know what, for example, your supervisor is thinking of you. It's kind of awkward. And what you need to know is that you are to succeed. Okay, you will. I don't want to say that you are gonna kind of like handle it with a flying colors here, but you're definitely going to be appraised, recognized, and rewarded for your performance in that awkward situation. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to be stressful. It's going to be stressful, and definitely the whole experience there for the next few days, maybe weeks as well, ain't going to be pleasant at all. Okay, so brace yourself. You are about to be, like I said, rewarded, but it's gonna take a lot from you as well to reach those rewards. That is what you need to know, guys. All right, next will be Scorpio. Seven hernias. Oh my God. Eight of Cups. The Hierophant. And Three of Wands. Unfortunately for Scorpio, it is the short straw for what those cards are showing. And Pisces Moonbeam, I am repeating that very often when we talk about things in general, that it is what it is. And that is what it is coming up here for Scorpio as well. I mean, it is what it is, guys. Current situation that you are finding yourself into, not exactly ideal. And that is, for some of us, an understatement for what we can see here. But it's going to be better. Not right now, maybe not in the next few days, but in the future, definitely is going to be better. What we can do about it right now, according to these cards, absolutely nothing. Okay, absolutely nothing. We just have to accept it, resign about it, and just move on. So let me give you an example. Let's say you fought last night, or you are fighting right now, with your beloved one, and you want to get on top. You can't. Okay, no matter what you do with the current means you have and the current circumstances, things ain't gonna get better. They can only go worse. So it's best to just leave it. Okay, it's best just to forego about it, forlorn it, relinquish the whole thing, forget about it, and just look toward the future. Because yesterday is yesterday. I mean, today is today, and the only thing we all do if we try to recapture it is just to lose tomorrow. All right? So you have been wronged, you have been insulted, forget about it. Don't try to act on it, or at least according to these cards, because first it ain't gonna work and you're gonna waste your time. Important thing for us, Scorpio, when it comes to the future, the way we should kind of like, or the attitude we should have, the best attitude we should have right now is how to make it better rather than, or how it could be better rather than what we are going to get from it when it's better. Okay? For example, we should focus on how to get the job done rather than what we are gonna gain when the job is done. I hope that makes sense. Or in personal life, okay, we should focus on how we can earn the trust of someone rather than what we are going to gain when they trust us. All right, next, Sagittarius. Busy is good, Danny. 3 of Cups, the Hermit, Four of Wands, give me a moment here. It's about unfinished business or unspoken things with a person close to you, close to us, with a person that we do have an interest in them, and what we need to know is that they also have an interest in us. And my point is that it is mutual. What I mean is that the idea we have about them and what they are for us, and I'm saying I'm also kind of like attaching me to all that because I do have a stellium in Sagittarius, so this is going to affect me. Moreover, my moon is there as well. But the point of these cards, it is that we and that person, okay, the idea we have what that person should be for us in the future, whether a business partner, friend, lover, a husband, wife, whatever, currently it seems according to these cards they do have the same idea about us as well. So if we do see them as a potential business partner, they see us the same way. Okay, but the point is that according to these cards there is something important that it is not spoken or not done in order that whole thing to happen. And it comes to us to figure out what that thing is, and we can figure out what that thing is through cooperation. So we should pick up the damn phone and just call that individual and just talk over, you know, how we see ourselves in the future, and also kind of like align with them as well on that regard. Because for what it seems, that whole thing is very important, very essential, very substantial for us and for them. And it's not like we cannot replace that individual. We can replace them with something else, or with someone else. But why, when they are around now why we should kind of like extend the agony that we are going through in one field of our lives or another. That is what we need to know as Sagittarius, that we can make it work. All right, next, Capricorn. Eight of Pentacles. Hey, Jasmine, welcome to the stream. The Wheel of Fortune. Nine of Pentacles. Thank you, Jasmine, for the 20 US dollars super chat. Thank you. The end of the stream, you're going to have your personalized reading. Just give me a minute. So, for Capricorn, what you need to know is that you are ready. So what these cards are referring to, it's a big leap, right? You may have, for example, a business plan that you consider a huge leap into your development, or some kind of an act that you are gonna planning to put, some kind of a conversation that you do have in mind you have to lead, that again, once it's done, that will kind of like put a huge leap into your development. The whole point it is that you're ready for it, according to these cards. You have attended to every detail, to kind of like every shenanigan that can happen. In generally, all the pieces are there and they have been attended according to these cards with a kind of like a huge amount of conscientiousness as well. So all that's it's left is to be initiated. So in the next few days, you might as well want to do that, because according to these cards, it's perfect. And by the way, they do have a very specific message for you, Capricorn, who are single. It's time to socialize, because it seems that the big fish, if you do want to call it as well, the golden fish, it's nigh. In fact, it is just around the corner. All that you gotta do in order to kind of like be spotted from it and to be approached from it is just to step into the light, right? Just to expose yourself or expose yourself in the social field. Yadabi, thank you for the 20 US dollars. Thank you, Yadabi. In a little while, you're going to have your personal reading as well. Mattia, thank you for the 20 US dollars. PayPal. At the end of the stream, you're going to have your personalized reading as well. The end of the stream is very, very close. Well, I don't know about the rest, but I am doing well, yeah. In fact, for once in my life, it seems that something is going okay, all right? Something is going right. For once. Ooh, that is Aquarius. I am rising Aquarius, 10 of Swords. So what we don't want to see now, Pentacles. Awful if we do see Pentacle. Ooh, 6 of Wands. That's good. It's really good. And the Page of Swords. It's really, really good. So the 10 of Swords is only awful when we do see Pentacles next to it. Okay, that is its worst manifestation, but we do see Wands. Basically, it's... Well, I don't know how exactly it's going to go through, how it's going to manifest, through what is going to manifest. Because for all I know, it could be an offer for having a sex, right? It could be an offer for taking a money. And when I say taking a money, a bonus, right? It's going to be something that comes out of nowhere, out of the blue. And it will be great on paper and not just only on paper. Okay, it could be that, you know, you're talking with someone and you like the guy or the woman, but it is not kind of like it haven't crossed your mind to flirt with them or anything like that. It is just, you know, there is a physical attraction, but you don't know each other very much, and suddenly, you know, that person kind of like gives you a hint or right out tells you that they would sleep with you, no problem. Okay, if you agree to, of course. Or you talk with your boss and they say, oh, you know what, I mean, if you do that, I'm gonna give you a bonus or something like this. It's gonna be a big reward that is gonna come out of the blue, and it will be in that moment, so we don't have time to think about it, because when the reward comes in a minute from there, from that point, it's gone. So when that person, for example, offers you to sleep with you and you kind of like want that to happen, you say yes right away. That is a matter of choice. Okay, we're gonna have as Aquarius a choice to get that reward, but it's a choice of a split second. And it will be a controversial one as well. With that Page of Swords being there, kind of put it into words. I mean, we ain't gonna be able to put a logical explanation why we should take it. But same thing, we ain't gonna be able to put a logical explanation why we shouldn't take it. And that also, by the way, and it is very possible, more possible than the other things I say, is that this is an offer for help from the last place we have expected that help to come from. And it's take it or leave it. You don't have time to think about it. Highly advisable to take it. Highly advisable to take it. Okay, so that is what we need to know. That an unexpected good fortune is coming our way, and we shouldn't deny it. And last but not least, Pisces. Well, it's not, Mattia, it's not, can I put it into words? It's not closed yet, but pretty close to that. Hopefully it's gonna work out. There is no reason not to, but, you know, knowing my luck and all that. Two of Wands. Eight of Pentacles. Ace of Wands. So what we have for Pisces, that may have already happened or it is about to happen in the next few days. It is that you're going to have a way through or a way out, one of the two, okay? And most of the circumstances around that way through or a way out are going to be unclear, okay? For example, say a client of yours is going to offer you a job, a project, but at that point you wouldn't know when that project is gonna come about, who else is gonna work on it, how long is going to be, and all these kind of like details that usually kind of like accompanies an offer or a way through or a way out and all these things. And that's kind of like may make you a bit, can I put it into words, uneasy to take it. But I'm afraid, my Pisces friends, it is that you ain't gonna have much choice but to take it. Because anything else is going to look far worse than that opening, so to speak. And by the way, that opening is very gainful and it will allow you to, so to speak, further your goal. Don't get me wrong, I mean, according to these cards, currently you do have a very good accomplishments and you're going to build on these accomplishments through that breakthrough or a way out or a way through or a proposal, whatever the case, okay? And even though the circumstances may not be exactly clear right now, they will work themselves out along the way. So it's taking a shot, basically. And that shot is going to be bullseye if you take it right away. That is what you need to know. All right, so that will conclude the 12 star signs. Now the super chat. First, that will be Yasmin. All right, Yasmin. Those are cards for you. Ace of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords. That will be either through a conversation or some kind of an information is gonna come your way that will unshackle you. Basically, is gonna give you an options available that you haven't had beforehand. I do believe that is going to be, it's more likely to be an information because secret is involved in it, okay? Whether it's an info you're going to learn about some kind of a secret that will give you leverage, or while you are talking with someone, let's say a coworker, let's say a boss or something like this, they are gonna slip something like the information, the secret itself, that is gonna give you leverage. I don't think that this is going to be in your love life, because it's for better. What I mean is that with this information you can do a lot of good for yourself, for your status, and in generally for your life. Right, so this isn't gonna be a secret, for example, that's, God forbid, you know, your partner is flirting with someone else or is spending money that it is not telling you, and whatnot. All right, this is gonna be a good secret. This is gonna be a good information that you can definitely use to your advantage to make your life better, not to suffer, struggle, and being in agony. Okay, so have your eyes, or rather like have your ears sharpened and listen to the details. That is what you need to know. All right, next, Rocky. So what do you need to know about your job? Those are your cards, Rocky. It seems that you are going to be given more work at your job, because simply said, you are presenting yourself more and more reliable and more what is the word, where you can manage more, you can manage better. It's basically you can handle more. That is how you are presenting yourself. So you're becoming more and more a valuable asset for what those cards are showing. And the only negative part, it is that the job, the responsibilities and all that, at least for the next few days, which are to be bestowed upon you, they're not going to reflect your future. What I mean is that you cannot step on them if you do want a promotion or anything like that. No love suggestions as of yet? Well, if you don't look for it, because you may have been suggested, it's just you may not have the eyes or the ears for it. What do you expect? That someone is gonna come and just lay it out for you? It never, I mean, I would love to happen that way, but it never does. I don't know why people are cautious in that regard, but they are. But yeah, it does look like, Rocky, that you are gonna rock at work. Just be very careful what you agreed upon, okay? Because can I put it into words? Some of the tasks which you are to be asked to take, which are completely optional, that is what I am trying to say, they are going to be more hassle than actually going to do good. So don't be afraid to say no if you kind of feel that that's a bit too much, that's a bit over, you know, the line. All right, next, Taco. Mhm. Well, you can get there, just not over a night, Rocky. All right, Taco, those are your cards. Unless you are planning to live in Colombia, they do not reflect to a traveling. You're welcome, Rocky. They do not reflect to traveling, they are reflecting to friends. Okay. What do you need to know, mate? It is that in the next few days you're gonna have the incentive and the means to make friends, and in generally to expand your social circle. That is the bigger message. And the other thing, according to these cards, is that if you do have some personal project or you are thinking of a personal project, it will be best to start it, because now the time is about right. That the way you, that is a bit tough to explain. You know, when you have a personal project that it is just on a stage of planning, you do have kind of like an expectations, and you do have criterias, you do have standards. And right now, starting it right now, it will allow it to kind of like stand or keep up with the standards and um, the criterias you have. Because if you do delay it, those standards, those criterias, the concept you do have of the thing, it needs to kind of like change a little bit. Okay. But according to these cards again, the best you can do in the next few days is make friends. I mean, you're gonna end up with a really loyal and trustworthy people around you. The time is nigh, yeah. I love that word. I don't know why people don't use it, but it's a nice word. It's not nigh, it's now for that personal project. It is now. It is in the next few days. Okay? Not just only nigh. All right, next, Jasmine. All right, Jasmine. Those are cards. Here. And well, it's basically that is a bit optional. What they show it is that what you need to know is that, and they do reflect the situation you do have with a person. And what do you need to know? It is that you don't have to make the choice. You are going to be better off allowing them, her or him, to make that choice, not just only for you, but for them. For example, Jasmine, let's say that you are dating someone, okay? And you want to decide either being in a committed relationship or not. Well, according to these cards, it is best to stall. It is best not to kind of like make that choice, you to make that choice, but let them make that choice by either staying with you or leaving you, all right? That is what they say. I don't know what toward what end, but if you do rush it, because what the cards are showing here is that there are still things that are to happen in between you and that person, and there are still, how can I put it into words, another side of the situation that you don't know about, or if you do know about, you haven't experienced it yet. And if you rush it, you may find yourself being unpleasantly surprised afterwards. And by you waiting enough, the right decision is either going to be made for you, or is going to become pretty obvious to you that you just can't make the wrong choice there. So that is what you need to know, Jasmine. Just don't rush it, okay? With people about deciding what to do with that person or the other person, at least for the next few days. All right, next, Yadobi. These are cards for you. Well, I don't know how you are going to take it, but according to them, you're welcome, Jasmine. You are asking for way too much. That's what they say. That is what you need to know. You are asking for way too much. Basically, every time you have a demand, it puts pressure, it puts tension, say in your job or say in your personal life. And it's not like, you know, the pressure is so much that things are about to break, but you are on the stage where the others involved or the other involved is kind of thinking, is it really kind of like worth it? So at least for the next few days, you gotta stop asking and just kind of like enjoy the situation or the state you are in. That's what the cards are showing. Right now, the best you can do, or rather like the best attitude you can have according to these cards, is not to kind of like strive for more or better, but to see how you can sustain what you already have. Or rather like the attitude shouldn't be asking for more, but rather sustaining what you have right now. I hope that helps. But the message is pretty clear. You are just asking for way too much right now. Mattia. All right, those are your cards, Mattia. Anna, thank you for the $20. You're going to have your reading in a moment. All right, Mattia, these cards can be read in two ways. Okay. Either they refer of that you got to say something. That is like... and if it is about saying something, it does refer to a person you love, say one of your children, and you know what you have to say to them. They are not gonna take it well. They're not gonna like it at all. But it's irrelevant right now, because if you don't say it, the consequences are gonna be bigger. Okay, it's just they have to know. And it refers to that news, and what you need to know is that there is no milder way to kind of like deliver the news. Okay, it's just you gotta say it outright, and they will handle it better than you think. That's one way how these things can be interpreted. And the other way, it refers to money, some kind of a move, some kind of a execution that you may considering, and straight away, how can I put it into words? That execution, it's almost marked as a failure before even has started, because it may look very difficult, it may look unreachable, right? It may look as well as a more like a prayer rather than a plan. And what you need to know is that it can work. Okay, it can work out. So if you are planning some kind of a move again that involves you making money, and you're hesitant about it because you're not certain it's going to work out according to these according to these cards, is going to work out. Okay, you can definitely, however, if that's the case, you can definitely readjust some parts of the plan, not the whole thing. Okay, but here and there some details can be definitely better in order to make it even better, in order to gain even more money. But again, if it is about you have to say something, you have to deliver some kind of a news or a truth, more likely, the only way of doing it is just straight away, instead of trying to, sugarcoat it. All right, next, Anna. You're welcome, Mattia. All right, Anna. Those are the cards that we have. And they speak about a resolution to a problem with a woman, female, that it is either, you know, working for you, or it is in your family. It could be as well your mother, for example. Okay, that's you're having a conflict, and according to these cards, if you do ignore it, that conflict will resolve on its own. That's why I don't think that it's about a person that works for you, because you can't ignore when they're not doing their job. That can't resolve on their own, on its own accord, on its own merits. It's just you can't allow someone to shit your bed, right? I mean, you gotta just get rid of them, right? But according to these cards, good night, Mattia. But according to these cards, I mean, if you do let it pass, I mean, if you do pretend that these things aren't happening, it's going to resolve itself on its own accord. With, by the way, with going for the argument, it will resolve as well, but it will be way more stressful than it should, and it will be like, you know, you can I put it into words? Things are gonna get much worse because they can before they start getting better, right? That's what those cards are showing. But for what we have here, I mean, best you can do is just don't pay attention to it. Don't take a part in that conflict, and this conflict resolved on its own accord. All right, so with that said, guys, this is gonna do it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your generosity as well, and we're gonna see each other next time. Until then, ciao.